My name is Sarah, and today I'm going to tell you about the most heartbreaking moment of my life, the day my world came crashing down. I'm 29 years old, and for as long as I can remember, I dreamed of my wedding day. I imagined walking down the aisle in a beautiful white gown, with all the people I loved gathered to celebrate my love story. And for a while, it felt like that dream was about to come true. I met James 3 years ago, and from the moment we locked eyes, it was as if the universe had aligned perfectly. He was charming, thoughtful, and everything I ever wanted in a partner. We fell in love quickly, and when he proposed a year ago, I was over the moon. I thought I had found my happily ever after. But as it turns out, fairy tales aren't real, and sometimes the people you trust the most are the ones who can hurt you the deepest. The weeks leading up to the wedding were a whirlwind of excitement and nerves. I was busy planning every detail, the flowers, the dress, the music. James seemed just as excited as I was, constantly reassuring me whenever I got overwhelmed. "This is going to be the best day of our lives," he would say, holding my hands and looking into my eyes.
His words always calmed me.
I thought I was the luckiest woman in the world to have someone like him. But looking back now, I realized there were signs, small, almost invisible red flags that I chose to ignore. James had started coming home late from work more often, claiming he was tied up with last-minute deadlines. He seemed distracted, his mind elsewhere, but whenever I asked if something was wrong, he would smile and say, "Everything's fine, Sarah. Stop worrying." And I believed him. Why wouldn't I? He was my fiancé, the man I loved. The morning of the wedding, I woke up with butterflies in my stomach. My bridesmaids were bustling around, helping me get ready, while my mom kept reminding me to eat something. "You don't want to faint at the altar," she joked. I laughed, feeling a mixture of nerves and excitement. I kept imagining James's face when he saw me walking down the aisle. I couldn't wait to start our life together. But as the hours ticked by, a strange unease started creeping in. James wasn't answering his phone. At first, I thought he might just be busy getting ready or dealing with some last-minute details. But when one of the groomsmen came into the bridal suite, his face pale, my heart sank. "Sarah, can I talk to you for a second?" he said, his voice shaky. Everyone in the room fell silent, their eyes darting between me and him. I stepped outside with him, my hands trembling. "What's going on?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. He looked at me with pity, and I knew something was terribly wrong.
"James isn't here," he said.
"We've been trying to reach him, but no one knows where he is." His words felt like a punch to my chest. "What do you mean, he's not here?" I asked, my voice rising. "He's probably just running late, right? Maybe his phone died." Or I was grasping at straws, desperately trying to make sense of what I was hearing. But deep down, I felt the truth sinking in. James wasn't coming. The minutes that followed were a blur. My mom and bridesmaids tried to console me, but their words felt hollow. I sat in the bridal suite, still in my wedding dress, staring at my phone, hoping, praying that James would call, that he would have some kind of explanation. But as the hours passed, the realization hit me like a tidal wave. He had left me. He wasn't coming back. My perfect wedding day had turned into a nightmare, and I had no idea why. In the days that followed, I was a wreck. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I kept replaying every moment of our relationship in my mind, searching for answers. What had I missed?
How could he do this to me?
My friends and family tried to comfort me, but nothing they said could ease the pain. The worst part was the silence. James didn't call, didn't text, he just vanished. It was as if he had been swallowed by the earth. I felt humiliated, abandoned, and utterly broken. A week later, I got a call from James's best friend, Mark. He sounded hesitant, almost guilty, as he spoke. Sarah, I don't know if I should be telling you this, but I think you deserve to know the truth, he said. My heart raced as I gripped the phone. What truth? I asked, my voice trembling. There was a long pause before he finally said, James, he's been seeing someone else. The words hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. What are you talking about? I asked, my mind struggling to process what I was hearing. He met her a few months ago, Mark continued. I didn't want to believe it, but he told me he was confused. I think that's why he left.
Confused?
That's all he had to say? My blood boiled as anger and heartbreak consumed me. James hadn't just abandoned me. He had betrayed me. Over the next few weeks, I tried to piece my life back together. I deleted his photos, packed up the things he had left at my apartment, and blocked his number. But no matter how hard I tried to move on, the pain lingered. Every time I saw a couple holding hands or a wedding photo on social media, it felt like a knife twisting in my chest. I kept asking myself, what did I do wrong? Why wasn't I enough for him? Those questions haunted me, keeping me up at night. But then one day, something shifted. I was sitting on my bed, surrounded by tissues and old photo albums, when I realized something. This wasn't my fault. James's choices had nothing to do with me and everything to do with him. He was the one who was selfish, who lacked the courage to be honest. I had spent so much time blaming myself, but the truth was, I deserved better. I deserved someone who wouldn't run away when things got hard, someone who would choose me every single day. With that realization, I began to take my life back. I started therapy, joined a yoga class, and reconnected with friends I had drifted away from. I focused on myself for the first time in years, learning to love who I was without needing anyone else's validation. It wasn't easy. There were days when the pain felt unbearable, when the memories threatened to pull me under. But little by little, I grew stronger. I stopped looking at James as the man who broke me and started seeing him as the man who taught me my worth. And then, a few months later, I got a message. It was from James. My hands shook as I opened it, unsure of what to expect. His words were filled with apologies and regret. He said he had made a mistake, that he missed me, and wanted to talk. For a brief moment, I felt the old pain resurface, the part of me that still longed for closure. But as I stared at his message, I realized something. I didn't need his apology. I didn't need him to tell me he was sorry, because I had already found peace. I had moved on, and there was no room in my life for someone who didn't value me. So, I deleted the message without replying, a sense of relief washing over me. James was my past, and I was finally ready to embrace my future. A future where I was happy, whole, and loved, not because of someone else, but because of me. To anyone going through heartbreak, I want you to know this. You are stronger than you think. The pain won't last forever, and one day, you'll look back and realize that losing them wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something better. Life has a way of surprising us, and sometimes the greatest blessings come disguised as heartbreak. If you enjoyed the story, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us create more stories that inspire and uplift.